Yes, it's understood Newcastle have turned to, well, I don't want to say this, backup option, is that a bit harsh? Eddie Howe, after Emery publicly snubbed their approach to stay at Villarreal. So is Eddie the man to save Newcastle? Let's find out. A man who knows all about the club. Sam Allardyce joins us. Sam, morning.
Morning, Sam. How are you, pal?
Morning, boys. How are we?
Oh, we're good.
For him.
Sam,
Good for him,
Very
Sam.
good.
Yeah, so much to talk about at the moment, Sam. The Newcastle
There
is an
is.
interesting one, isn't it? You know, first and foremost, Sam, you know, stop conceding goals, defend, scrap for points, and basically fight and dig your way out of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, the demand for playing out from the back and playing out an attractive football has caused lots of coaches, I think, today a problem about how to defend properly first, how to achieve the ultimate, which is a great defensive unit that wins the ball back and doesn't let the team concede goals. And
Yeah.
in coaching terms, for me, a lot of that's gone out the window. You know, I think we're seeing a lot of defenders that think more about attacking than playing out than they do about defending and doing what really their main job is. So I think that's a reflection of what's happening in the game today. But from an entertainment point of view, yes, it may be better, and goals from a manager's point of view to get the balance between the two. And I think that's where Newcastle tried to play open all season this season from the start, tried to get the attacking line going. But unfortunately, their defensive weakness was exposed too many times and ends up with Steve losing his job. And we're all under huge amounts of pressure, or managers under huge amounts of pressure in the Premier League. And I think that nobody realises that when you get a job like Newcastle there, it's a big job, of course, but, you know, to get the right blend, the right entertainment value, and to entertain the fans on what they want to see and get results is a massive job, particularly when we talk about the spending. And if you talk about the spending in real terms, is what you spend is normally where you finish in the league. It's been proven many, many times by the statistical analysis that the lads that spend the most get to the top. Generally, the lads that spend the least end up at the bottom. I mean, obviously, there's exceptions to that rule, like a Burnley and people like that have been managed very, very well over the last 6, 7, 8 years. And for Newcastle, the choice of manager is critical. And what do they want at this moment in time? And how do they get him? I mean, a top manager like Emery looks at Newcastle at the bottom of the league and says, do I really want that challenge? I think that's the problem they have. They might well have the money now, or better money to spend, but a manager of his quality, does he think and look and say, yes, you know, they've got plenty of money to spend, but look at the project, look at the rebuild that Newcastle need to do to be a great side challenging at the top of the Premier League. And I think it's the time that takes and the money that takes is where the problem's going to lie, and where the new owners have got a problem finding the right man to take the club forward. Very, very difficult indeed, I would say.
Sam, I was going to say to you, mate, looking at Newcastle in particular, mate, they've got two challenges, right? Obviously, with the new owners coming in, they're going to get lots of money to spend, and the long-term project is, I would imagine, Champions League football and competing for trophies. But surely the immediate, nobody can take their eye off the ball right now, because I'm looking at that league table right now, Sam, and they're 6 points behind Leeds United in 17th. They've got a fight in their hands.
They need one hell of a run at some stage, Ali, to pull out of trouble. And, you know, I've experienced this an awful lot, as you well know, over recent years. And you get a period where you must win 3 and 4, 5 out of 8, 5 out of 6, 7. And you must have a run that, you know, that is sort of top form in the Premier League to get yourself out of trouble when you're in this, even at this top moment in time. And I think with as many games has gone by and you're still in single figures in points, it generally takes at some stage or other well past Christmas into Easter and maybe right till the end of the season before you can get out of trouble, because, you know, it's not an easy task when you make the season start like this with so few points on the board. And of course, it's a big job for the manager to instill the confidence that's needed in the players to achieve those results. And of course, you start first by stop conceding goals. But everybody says that it might be negative. That's the ultimate first.
Yeah. Sam, I was going to say a couple of novice managers, but I don't know if you'd agree with that or not. And I don't know if they want to go to Newcastle if they're offered the job. But Frank Lampard, with Frank, he managed a massive club in Chelsea, and Stephen, who's managing a massive club in Rangers. But in terms of Premiership, Frank's been there, Stephen hasn't yet. Premiership as a manager would either be your cup of tea to take over a club like Newcastle?
Well, I don't think Stephen at this stage would leave Rangers where they are, top of the league, winning every week, to fight at the bottom of the Premier League. The Premier League's a massive, exciting league that everybody wants to manage in across the world. So I presume he would want to get here someday. But at the moment, the Newcastle massive job that it is, but the position they're in, why leave Rangers, who are winning every week, to challenge yourself for the trials and tribulations of Newcastle United, even though they have got maybe plenty of money to spend, but they can't spend it that quick because of financial fair play, I don't think. But whereas Frank, if I were Frank, I'd jump at the chance. I think he's rested, he's gained the experience from Derby and Newcastle. His first season at Chelsea was brilliant under very, 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 very tight restrictions going to Champions League. Then when they spent that bit of money and it didn't gel, he's gone. Yeah. And of course, I think he needs to fight back. And if the club's got money, not a better place for Frank for me than to take Newcastle on, I would say. But maybe that might be the owner's view. And it would be nice to see a British manager take over any Premier League club for me, as you well know. But are they going to look abroad and still look abroad? And who are they going to get to take it? But I've said this before to you when I was on last time. It's the infrastructure of Newcastle that needs to be built on the basis of recruitment and everything that goes with it behind the scenes. That's a real challenge as well, because if they're going to be like a Man City or a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a Man United, that's 4-5 years down the line. And I would say, and I'm sure you'd agree with me, that's about 500 million to spend if you want the top players today, I would say.
Sam, just a quick one, mate. Another massive games. They keep coming. We've got the Manchester Derby and talkSPORT this Saturday. Listen, I want to talk to you about United's defence. Clearly, Ronaldo is just absolutely out of this world, Sam. But they're really, I think they're struggling. I watched them against Liverpool, even, in the game in midweek there. I've got to say, Harry Maguire looks to have lost a little bit of form. Stating the obvious, Sam, they're going to have to defend a heck of a lot better at the weekend.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, Ali, about what I said before. If you're going to win anything or you're going to survive at the bottom, you've got to get your defensive unit right. And that's why Manchester United, I think, broke the record in terms of where they went last year playing away from home and where they were in terms of finish second in the league. That seems to have been lost. And is that Ollie under pressure to play more attacking football, more open, expansive football? For me, that's the answer. That's what Man United have tried to start this season by doing with the extra players and the talented players they've got up front. The sad thing is those players up front and in midfield are not, for me, protecting the back four like they do, like they did last year. And that's one of the problems. And that back four is now getting exposed and taking the big brunt of what the problem of Manchester United have got. Yeah. But I say it's a team problem and as well as a defensive problem, that the protection is not good enough out of possession. And that's what they need to get the balance right.
Sam, I'm way over time. I'm going to get a rollicking, but I've got to ask you this, please. Really, I've got to ask you this, Sam. Conte, brave decision or is he mad?
If anybody will lick Tottenham into shape, that man will. Believe you me. I've known him for quite a while, and this man takes no messing. His views on the game and the way he portrays himself and the way he goes about it brings results. But yet again, they brought Jose in for that, and that didn't work. But this time, they have to go his way. And I think he will have demanded that. And I think that Tottenham will improve, whether they'll improve enough to be a top 4 side now is the big question. But they'll definitely improve under Antonio Conte. He's very, very good at what he does. Very, very disciplined. A little bit old school, if you like. Very disciplined in terms of how the players train, what they do and how they handle themselves. But his track record speaks for itself.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.